do 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 do. Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you might be in time and space. Kinneas here, another Noob Flights. The landing aid options, the landing path, and we will get to that in just a second. I've already got the screen loaded. We'll get right to it. Don't have to really tell you about anything else. I think we're all caught up. All right, so the landing path. This is not set by default. You need to set this, and it's under assistance and landing path, and you need to turn this on. You can also turn on taxi ribbon. If you get to an airport, if the taxi's working, and it'll direct you to taxi. A lot of the runway numbers aren't working right, and so it's probably a good idea to use the taxi ribbon for right now while they still work things out. But if you're new to flying and you are, the whole entering the flight path and the taxi path and whatever, it's all a little much for you and you need some assistance, this is the tool. This will definitely help you. And, take advantage of all the help you can get. This is a really great feature to have. So let's go back and let's put this to use. So I'm in the air, and I'm heading towards Pueblo, Colorado, and you can see it's awful stormy out. And we're going to try to make for a landing, and when we contact the ATC and request a landing, the landing path should appear in the sky. And it's just a series of boxes that you fly through. So let's do this. There's our destination ahead of us right there. Let's see if we can get a hold of the air traffic control. Air traffic control. Nearest airport list. We want Pueblo. It's farther from me. I guess it's still farther from me. Maybe I went a little too far away. There it is right there, Pueblo Memorial. And we need to tune their tower. And it'll automatically set your radio for you. So we need to request a full stop landing.
Pueblo Tower, Cessna Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra Alpha is 47 miles east with Quebec to land.
I guess we have Quebec with us.
Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra Alpha Pueblo Tower. Make straight in runway 26 left. Altimeter 29er decimal 9er to wind 262 at 51.
Let's acknowledge the pattern entry instructions.
Fly straight in runway 26 left Cessna Golf Sierra Alpha.
All right, you see something red on the horizon that just showed up over there? That is, it's the basically gates to fly through. Either way, we need to fly through that. And it will tell you if you're going too fast or too slow. And that's a good thing to know too. It's a nice little tool. If you're coming in from a different angle, it might give you a whole sequence of turns to do. But right now, this one's just straightforward, flying straight in. Let me speed us up a little bit, speed the sim up. There's 35 miles. Hope you're having a great Saturday night. Guess I could have set us closer. I didn't know how far to set us back for, actually. I didn't know how long it would take to get through the intro. Get us set up. $18 miles. Almost there. dun, 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 the anticipation. 11 miles. So yeah, this can be really helpful when you're trying to figure out where to enter the traffic pattern based on what they're telling you. 5 miles. Let's put it back to where we're supposed to be. Okay, so all we need to do now is just follow these boxes. This low visibility out there anyway. We just need to follow those boxes down to the runway. And what we've learned about landing is, let's get down to about 1900 RPM, somewhere in there. Since we're actually on like 5 miles, I think we can go as low as like 15. Right in there, 14, 15. We should be losing altitude. I don't know if autopilot's engaged or not. I should check that. That would stop us. Yeah, autopilot was engaged. So we are now actually following, and you can see our speed. We're in flap range. You got the white bar. That means we can deploy our flaps at this point. And on final, you should be at full flaps. So let me kick the flaps in. That'll raise the nose up. You want to be careful if you're going too slow and you kick the flaps in. You can put yourself in a stall position. But you see how the boxes went from red to blue? Okay, now we're getting a little slow. But you notice how the boxes went from red to blue? That means we're in the right speed zone, right? We're where it wants you to be for speed. So we're actually just right above stalling. So let me just pump a little more juice into the engine. Rev it up a little more. So now we're just kind of holding this speed. Now, since the nose dipped, you see that? They've turned red again. It's telling us, hey, you're speeding up again. Okay, now they're blue again. But we're right where we want to be. It's going to be a slow 3 miles. Let me speed it up a tiny bit. Too fast. Right there. This is really handy too because we can't see the runway. You want to get the credit for the landing, but you can't see it. And it's right. It's supposed to be just 1 mile. What? Are we still way too high or what? It's saying it's down below. I'm going to just keep following the boxes. Oh, it's just indicating pattern entry. Okay, so we're still good. Just a little low, but we're fine. I think. Well, watch the speed there. Always keep an eye on your speed. Right now, slowing down a little much. Putting all the power back into the engines. Start dropping the nose a bit. I know that it doesn't want us to slow down, but this wind is knocking us around pretty good. Keeping yourself on course, unless you're using an autopilot landing, can be a little bit difficult. You might have to apply rudder. You might be being blown sideways. It's called a crosswind. You can actually land your plane sideways or fly sideways with a heavy crosswind, and at the last minute you have to straighten yourself out. It's called crabbing, and I don't know that I'm going to get to demonstrate that right now. Too fast. But basically, let's say the wind's pushing us this way. You have to use almost full rudder, and this would probably be best seen from outside. But it's keeping your nose pointing one direction, and my rear end is actually kind of like going the other direction.
Cessna Golf Sierra Alpha cleared to land runway 26 left.
That's a hard concept to explain just from the cockpit. But in some cases you are. I mean, there's videos out there. Watch some videos, pull up
Cessna Golf Sierra Alpha, acknowledge last transmission.
Oh, Lord. We didn't ATC in that we were on final. Get the nose up so I can get to the radio. Yeah, okay. See, that's what I mean. The wind is, it's hard for me to let go.
Sierra Alpha, did you copy?
Yeah, okay, we did.
Cessna Golf Sierra Alpha ATC services terminated.
Oh, he's terminating our services. All right, well, we didn't want to talk to him anyway. We just wanted to get this thing to the ground. Whoa. That's nice to know. Oh, goodness gracious.
Stall.
Power. Drop the nose a little bit. Oh, whoa, boy.
Stall.
We're dangerous territory. Try to make it over to that last box. I don't even see the runway. There it is. Sort of. Oh my goodness. At this point, and they said if you can't see the runway, you're supposed to call it off. Yeah, we'd have to do a go-around. The wind's blowing us all around. I couldn't even make it.
Stall.
Dangerous. I don't think we're going to survive this one, folks. But that's okay. It's a simulator. We'll live to land another day. We can go around. And that's what you're supposed to do at this point. If you really can't see the runway at that position, you have to call it off and try to make your way out of the area. Get rid of the flaps. That's what's hurting us. But that demonstrates the landing box and bad use of the landing box. But there it is again. So you're going to want your navigational aid. You're going to want it. So turn it on. And what we're supposed to do in the real world now is make our way back, recontact ATC. Yeah. And try it again. We're actually supposed to enter the pattern. So much I'm doing wrong here. But the Storm 1 is just killing us.
Stall.
Wow. Crazy, man. I set it for clear skies. It didn't take. I set it for daytime. Wow. That's even more scary. Is it gonna calm down now? It's like, I give up on you, man. I'm freezing. I don't even want to play with you anymore, it says. It says it's calm, but it doesn't feel very calm. Whoa, and no wonder the sim's all had it going too fast. We'll just make that runway anyway. So there's our boxes. It's our landing path. This is kind of crabbing. I've got my nose facing west and I'm using full rudder to get my rear end so that when we get down to this runway, we're going straight. So I'm kind of flying sideways. Nighttime flying is bad enough, but with the storm, holy moly. I'm starting to learn to love night flying, and that's taken a long time. And now I'm trying to put in more night hours than I am day hours. But I got bad eyesight to begin with. And so, and now without the flaps, she didn't want to come down. So yeah, trying to put in a lot more night hours now than day hours. Because I'm doing a lot of automation now. I'm trying to learn how to use the GPS and use it effectively. And so, I don't really need to be paying attention to the ground anyway. I just am going to be monitoring instruments. So, nighttime is better for that as well. And I'm getting a lot more comfortable with it. But what they say about your perspectives and judging distances at night, they said it can really trick you, and a lot of pilots end up coming in too low on the runway and misjudging it. So again, that landing path when you're new, take advantage of that to get you down, and then start easing in a little bit of bad weather, a little bit of low visibility. You can adjust all your clouds. So you're going to want to start playing with low visibility. You try it before you start doing, even stuff like that. Just see if you can. Test yourself. Put it into some low visibility situations. And once you're comfortable, try making your way to an airport and see if you can do it manually. If you can, you might be a natural. If not, the first couple times you do it, it's almost impossible. That's when you start realizing, at least I did, you need to learn your instruments. You have to be able to read them. You have to be able to use any aid that you can to start out learning, to get yourself to the ground. Learning how to do automated landings with the ILS, Instrument Landing System. Pulling up ILS frequencies, plugging in ILS frequencies into your navigation radio and using your autopilot to follow that. All this stuff will make your life so much easier. Doing it manually can be very, very, very scary. So again, just learning it, all the different ways to do it. And the more you do it, the more confident you become. And it's happening. It's slowly happening. Because I haven't been confident I hate to admit that I've been going on years trying to learn this stuff. But, you take a year off here and 6 months off there, because it's just, if you're treating it just like, oh, I'm going to just mess around in the flight sim, man, then, losing a couple of years is no big deal. But after a while, when you start getting serious, it starts becoming a little bit more all-consuming, and you start putting in a lot of time trying to get it right. So in the last 2 years, I have been really trying to put my time in, watch lots and lots and lots of videos, not just from people making sims, but flight training videos, FAA videos on the rules and regulations, and just trying to absorb absolutely as much as possible, which is now helping me to learn how to talk about it and put together videos like this where, I'm trying to make that, okay, I understand it, but now can I tell you about it? If I understand it enough, I should be able to explain it to somebody, another noob like myself, and they should be able to get it. And that's kind of what these videos are about. Some folks are thinking, well, why would you bother putting all this stuff together when there's actual real pilots out there putting this stuff together? Because, I'm learning too. I'm trying to demonstrate that, I'm learning it up to this point. So as a record for myself, I love putting this stuff together. If it's helping somebody else out, that's great. I want to keep making stuff like this. So if you want to keep checking on me and see what I'm doing, and then please subscribe. And if you have comments, leave them. If you want to correct me on things, if you want to point out things, leave it in the comments. If you're making videos of your own, like, hey, somebody's already told me, hey, check out this video I'm making on this. Loved it. Post the links to your stuff and your pages in the chat room. Go right ahead. It's for the benefit of us all. So anything, that somebody said, hey, why don't you do the course heading knob? And it's like, you know what? I could really use a video on that myself. So why don't you put that one together and then link me to it? You do the course button one. There's so much to cover. We can all get to it. So please, don't hesitate to use my chat boxes, my comment boxes, to post links to your stuff, because it helps, and I'm gonna go check your videos out and try to learn all I can. I have in the past spent time and have had successful flights in the Airbus and larger planes. So by next week, once I'm done with a lot of these other basic videos, I promise we're going to start moving up to the jets. It may not be, look, I'm not going to know everything, and neither are you, but we're noobs. But by next week, I want us both to be up in the air in the bigger planes. And I want you to be understanding how all this stuff that I've been trying to do in these earlier videos, it's all going to translate up. It's not much different. It's bigger. It's a bigger plane. But, for the most part, the basics are still going to be there. And learning all this stuff now, even though all the buttons are going to be a little bit different and things are going to be looking different in different places, you should be able to hop into any plane at some point with what you're learning and go, if I sit here long enough and look at everything, I know how to do this. And that's what I've been trying to reinforce to myself, is like load up a new plane in Flight Simulator that I've never loaded before and sit there and look at the cockpit for a minute. Start realizing, yeah, okay, different spot, but labeled the same. It looks like that. Yeah, okay. And, the switches are different, but there's the lights, and you're going to find some of these, and you're going to find this. You're going to find all that. You're going to find these buttons, everything. Everything is the same. So we'll get flying the big stuff. All right. Thanks for tuning in. Now you know how to do that. I should have demonstrated the taxi pattern. Can we do that real quick now that we're down here? Tune Pueblo ground and see if he gives us any taxi or parking. Taxi for takeoff. Ground services. No, we can only get a pushback or take off again. Some airports are offering you to taxi. So, I don't know which ones. There's, thousands of airports in the Microsoft Simulator. But I've landed at some and gotten options to taxi, and it puts up these arrows, and it draws arrows for you to follow to your taxi point. And then there's refuel places, but you can set a refuel and a repair and refuel button. I don't know that that's set by default either. I like setting mine to the ones that I can remember, like R, refuel, repair, and they're both in one button. So hey, that's lovely. Okay, thank you for tuning in. See you at the next video.